everyone. Welcome back to Dancers Doing Stuff. I know it's been like 400 years since we had a show. I talked about this on the mini episode of the podcast, but I had this really cool opportunity. I got to dance in a movie, short film that's coming out sometime. I don't know when, but that's why we haven't had any episodes. So I'm super excited to be back, and today's episode is going to be one of the best, I'm sure of it, because this dancer is so talented in so many styles. Plus, she loves cats, just like me. We're both foster fails, and she just does every style and like literally worked at Google, like literally so smart, so talented. Let me read you like the official bio because it's better than my blabbing. So, Jennifer Margono, the guest today, studies house, contemporary, and hip-hop social dances in New York City and grew up as a studio kid doing ballet, jazz, and modern. Her recent credits include Beyond Babel, which is, I don't know if you guys know, but Keone Amari, it's like literally such a great show. I'm really excited to talk about this. Shinsa, which is Bo Park's company, and the Orsano Project, which is Phil Orsano, who I actually got to study with when I did the Complexion Summer Camp, and he's his amazing choreographer and teaches at BDC, and like I think actually he's going to be a guest one day, so that's really exciting. And she's also an alumni of The Neighbors, which is a really awesome dance group crew. I don't know if you use crew anymore. I need to ask that question. But she graduated with a distinction from Duke University with a Bachelor's of Science. I almost said a BS. That's not right. A Bachelor's of Science in Evolutionary Anthropology and minors in Dance and Psychology. Like, whoa, what was that schedule like? That must have been nuts. And she was also co-president of the multicultural dance group DefMo. Jennifer also works full-time at Google in their advertising technology business. Like, what? As a solutions consultant. So, like, all of this while being a professional dancer, while being a boss cat mom, like, I just can't. So, let me show you this video. I stole it from her Instagram. It was really hard to pick a video because she's so versatile and she does a lot of, like, improv and a lot of just amazing stuff. She's really awesome at house, which is like that's so hard for me, like whoa, so physical. But I picked this video because it's an improv that was really early on in the pandemic, and I really love the caption. Definitely go check it out. Check her social media, we'll have all that linked. But I just really love her movement quality, and it was just a gorgeous video, so enjoy. So beautiful. There's more of it, but I just wanted to give you a little taste of her beautiful movement quality. And like I said, she can do it all. So enough of me blabbing. Let's bring her in. Bring a big round of applause. Let me get this going.
Wow, you're so
Welcome.
sweet. Thank you for hyping me up. And wow,
Oh
all
my
those
gosh, no.
memories of moments in my life.
You are amazing. I'm obsessed with you, like, not so secretly. So, as I said, you are a new cat mom. We both have our fur babies. So, I thought
Hmm.
it's only appropriate for the craft for today to be cat related. So,
Love
I
it.
looked up some cat toy DIYs. The first one, we can't mess it up, I promise, because there's been a lot
Hmm.
of fails on this show. So it's basically we're just wrapping a pipe cleaner around something. And they actually really like it. The one of the cats is asleep on the windowsill. I'm sure he'll come over, but
Oh,
they're like They love it, I swear. So basically, to do this one, I use this like roller bottle to make it a little thicker, but you can use like a
Okay.
pencil or anything. I'm gonna make like a thin one now. All we have to
Got
do for
it.
this very first one, super, I'm doing like, we're doing a few crafts because it's
Okay.
super simple. So basically, you
Great.
just literally wrap it up
Oh.
and then
Uh,
it's done.
I have I have one thing. So I thought when we were assembling the different craft materials, I thought they would all be like one toy. So I definitely messed this one up already. I do not have pipe cleaners. I have like old dance socks.
Oh, well, you
I
could
thought we just
actually
needed
do something
things.
with that.
Okay,
You
great.
could
I
do
thought we
something with
needed
that.
things to like attach to the
No,
toilet paper
I
roll.
understand that. Okay,
Okay.
well then, this is just for anyone out there who like this is literally it. I like wrapped the
This
bottom a
this is
little
it.
bit. I love it. I mean, literally my cat the other day took my ballet slipper out of a basket deep in my room and
No
brought it
way.
into the hallway. So, he was kind of trying to tell me something that I should be back in ballet, but it's a little
Oh,
attacked.
That's too, it's we're not even, a few months past the pandemic to be going back
I
to ballet.
know.
I shouldn't be saying that. Phil, if you're watching, I'm very sorry.
Literally, I know. I'm like, I really do need to be back in ballet. I'm really bad. Okay,
It's
so
hard. It's
next
like you took like a
craft.
day off and you feel it.
Oh,
So,
for sure. And it's like you know
um,
when you go back, it's gonna be bad. Like
yeah,
because those muscles are just gone.
exactly. It's all like 90 degrees or lower. Leg doesn't go up
Literally.
beyond that. Yeah.
Okay, next one. It shouldn't be too hard. So I have this paper towel roll, which is crazy that you also have one because we were saying
Hmm.
before this has been kind of delayed. We were supposed to do this like 100 times and I canceled a million times. So we've been saving up all of our toilet paper and paper towel rolls. So now we have a million possibilities for cat crafts. So I'm gonna cut this one like a little smaller. Let me see here. This one is also super easy if you're able to cut paper towels. Okay. So
I love
basically,
how the
all we
pipe
need to
cleaner one was
do,
kind of like those cat spring toys that you see, right?
yeah,
And
and
they
it's
just
like
like pause them and they
super
jump
cheap.
everywhere.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
they already picked it up and ran away with it, so that's funny.
Oh,
It was already cat
success.
approved. So this one, all you need to do is like cut a bunch of little slits on both ends of the paper towel or toilet paper roll, and then I'll do it really fast on this one. So we just snip, 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 snip. And then you kind of like fan it out like
Oh, okay.
this. And you do it on both sides. And you can like decorate here. Or I've seen people like tie strips of fabric around here too. So it has that. So you could use your old socks for that also.
There you
And
go.
then it's kind of like a fun little thing. I have some washi tape that I might put on this to like
Oh, I've got
spice
some
it
too,
up.
yeah. Hmm.
But I don't know about you, but my cats are just obsessed with boxes and like biting cardboard, like kind of more than any toy I've gotten them. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
this would be a hit.
I've gotten uh like eighths of cardboard boxes completely chewed up underneath the couch
Yeah,
just because Cheetah will get into them and just gnaw at it all day. I don't know what he likes about it, if he's teething, if he thinks it's
yeah.
like a fibrous snack. I don't know. Maybe he's got
How old
issues.
is he?
He's 10 months. So still
Oh my
kitten, but like
gosh.
getting to that phase where his metabolism is slowing, so you can see some chunk on him. And then
Yeah,
at one, he'll be an adult. So he's definitely in his teenager phases.
yeah. Mine are
Yeah.
like 9 months. I think they're like a month
Oh,
behind
okay.
him. So one of them, Milo,
How?
is like super big. He's just like thick.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
Maisie is like more like dainty and thin. But yeah.
I think the dudes are a little chunkier than the girls,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Okay.
so. And maybe this is TMI, but like he pees way more. He pees a
Oh, okay.
lot. Does Cheeto pee a lot? Like it's like
Yeah. That's a good thing
aggressively.
though. Male cats are more prone to getting UTIs, which is so weird. That's like
Oh,
opposite from humans. I don't know if that's something that is
interesting.
researched well, but yeah, they're prone to getting UTIs and having kidney disease. So if they're drinking a lot of water and peeing a lot, that's a great thing.
Oh, that's good. I was kind of worried because I was like, wow, he goes through a lot of litter. Like when I for a while I just had Maisie because she was my foster kitten. I got her when she was 8 weeks old. She was really sick. Had to give her a lot of medicine, and then when I wanted to adopt her, it was kind of the rule that you can't adopt one cat. So they tried to find a match
Right.
for her with a kitten who was kind of the same age. So that's when I got him, and I was like, wow, he eats way more. He pees a lot more.
Yeah.
Like everything, he's just a lot more. But he's so loving and cuddly, so it's worth it. Okay,
Aw.
our last craft is I'm going to actually cut this a little bit more. I'm going to cut this one in half. So you can actually make two, which is kind of cool. This one is like the most advanced of all of them. It's a puzzle toy. So get
Oof.
ready for this. Ooh, I cut this. Okay. So what we have to do, according to YouTube, is we cut out like a little hole that's like big enough for the treat to fit in, but not too big. So I'm just going to kind of stab at it. This could be dangerous, but we're just going to risk it. Okay.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Exactly. Well, and my biscuits are looking rough because I haven't been in ballet. Okay, I'm going to check that the treat actually fits through this hole. And that might bring some friends over because they'll hear the tree.
Okay.
And I think they'll come running. Yep.
Do we close off the ends as well, or?
Yeah, so it's kind of like when you do, oops, I just broke the treat. So it's kind of like when you like roll up money. Oh, hi, Milo. He's here. So you fold in the ends like this. Let's
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Kind of like when you do like a roll of money at the bank.
Oh yeah. Hey, buddy. He was just
I think
sleeping
you
on the
could
desk already,
also-
so here you go.
I think you could also like tape it closed because I'm not sure if I trust that it will stay. Oh, hi, Cheetah.
Oh, he loves it already. He loves it. Well, he loves my thumbs. My thumbs smell like the snacks. So.
So cute. Okay, I put like
Oh,
two
I got
in,
it.
and now I'm closing it up. And then theoretically, they can like bat it around, and the treat should
All right,
like
buddy.
fall out. Here, I have my. Here's Milo.
All right, buddy.
He's here. It's a
Okay,
cat
buddy.
party.
Are you using, what kind of snacks are you using?
They really like these blue bursts.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, those look healthy. Mine are definitely
I
junky.
don't think they
like,
are. I think
temptation
they're
snacks.
junky. Here you go.
Good boy.
He's
Wait,
not
so
very
this
good
is
at,
your 10-month-old or 9-month-old boy?
Yeah, he's like a big.
Okay, see,
he's
like,
big. He's really big.
we do it. Okay, mine is bigger.
Yours
I'm
is
worried. I don't know
long.
if he's like too big, but I think he's fine. I think,
I think
if
he's
he
good.
wants
I
to be
love
this big, let him be this big. Why should
exactly.
people have body issues? I mean cats. Why should they
Right?
have body issues?
I like that he has all those stripies in him. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Oh, and he's got spots on his belly, like.
Milo is kind of like polka dotted, which is kind of funny if you can see. I don't know. But yeah, I think that they'll like this. We'll see. I'll see if this is like what the thing should look
boy.
like. And we'll see if he can figure out how to get the treat out. But yeah, those are our crafts. So let's talk dance while the cats are
Yes.
eating. Okay, so I mentioned
Toss
that
the
you
cat
do
away.
like, yeah, I know it's so hard. I'm sure the other one will come too. I think she's asleep in my room, but so I know I mentioned that you do like every style, you do everything, and I know you started out. You said you're a studio kid, so did you do like the whole tap, jazz, ballet, everything growing up?
I did, yeah. I did a lot of ballet because I think the ballet teachers I had growing up were the best. They were really intense on me, kind of scary, but pushed me so hard to just become the best dancer that I could be, and that carried on to other styles. But yeah, I did ballet, contemporary, modern, jazz, tap. musical theater, hip hop, which was like dancing to KT Tunstall, like
Oh my
basically
gosh,
not hip
yes.
hop.
Suddenly I see. Suddenly I see. Classic.
Yes, yeah, that is not a hip hop song, but in a suburban Illinois town, it was.
Yeah. So, how did you get into you have really strong foundational training. So, you did you start that in New York, or where did that even, what prompted you, I guess, to get into the foundational training?
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. So yeah, when I was in college, I was a part of that multicultural dance group. We did Bhangra, we did Asian fusion dance. We dabbled in a bit of African dance, but we also did things like contemporary and hip hop social dances and what was formerly known as urban. And I really liked that urban movement. And so when I went to New York after graduating, it was mostly to find a job, but also just because like I love the also just because I knew that this place is just a mecca for all dance. And
Yeah.
being the birthplace of hip hop and being a place where you could learn foundations, it was just something that I really loved. So yeah, I got more into that scene. Ended up auditioning for the Neighbors, and that's when I started to do more of like that hip hop social dance competition scene. Um, when EXPG was around, I really loved taking their house classes, and
Yeah.
house became like my foundation of a street style. So like I remember when Tony Ray came to New York to teach a house lesson, and he's from San Diego. And at the end of the class, he was like, you know what, you guys are taking house from me, but all the OGs are here in New York, like Sekou, Ejo, Cricket, Khalif, when he's in town. It's just like all of the OGs are here. Like, why are you taking from me when I'm learning from them? Like, you guys have the Mecca. So that was really eye-opening and seeing like how many incredible like hip hop OGs are still around and teaching because it's so like valuable to be able to absorb from them.
Yeah. And I feel like there is this kind of disconnect with like people don't often train in the foundational styles but then call themselves hip
Hmm.
hop dancers, and that is like that's probably very complicated, and I'm sure that we could have millions of conversations about that. I'm actually going to have some people from the Hip Hop H Plus Conservatory who run H Mart on
Oh.
later in the show, but I think that it's so important. I struggle so much with foundation, so it's like I don't call myself a hip hop dancer even though I take street jazz and all of these things, but something
Hmm.
that I really love is that you don't limit yourself to one style, and you also
Mm.
from an outsider view, it seems like you really do delve into the training of everything to, you're not like half doing one thing, half doing another. Like you give it its due, what's the right word? Like it's time. And I think that that's
Mm.
so valuable, and it's also so great to see that it's possible to not have to half do contemporary and half train in street styles. And I don't know. Do you ever find like a disconnect with like struggling with thinking of the concert dance world and then the commercial dance world and balancing that?
Oh, yeah, all the time. To your earlier point, I would definitely not categorize myself as a hip hop dancer too. Like, yes, I trained in house and that's a foundation, but it's only been a couple years, 2 to 3 years that I've been doing that. Before, I also did like the street jazz, urban
Yeah.
dance styles and did not have any foundation. It was just learning because I knew how to pick up choreo. But it's more like these days I really enjoy trying to find my own style because my mentality now is like, sure, you can go to a class, pick up choreography, but the way that social media has kind of influenced how class goes these days and with select groups at the end, like you could be doing an incredible job and the difference between you and the dancer that gets selected could just be like, oh, the choreographer knows them, they do it like 0.05% better than you, something about them stands out. And for me, I think I'm in a stage of my career where I just want to find my own voice. I want to be able to fuse the styles I have together and create my own kind of vocabulary and movement. And in that sense, like I feel a little freed from like the concert or commercial dance worlds, especially having a full-time job. I don't feel like that same pressure to need to book things because um, I could go to an audition, or I could show up there like I did a couple years ago at MSA auditions, see that there were 500 people crammed in a tiny room with no AC, and just be like, you know what? I think I'm good. I think I just I want to do my own thing. I want to have fun while dancing, and I want to find the part of dancing that makes me feel like me and express myself, not have to fit into like a specific role for a specific job.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like this job that I want to talk to you about next kind of
Yeah.
is the definition of that, like the fusion of contemporary and hip hop and street styles and all of those things, and just such a good message. And let's talk about Babel. Let's talk about it. So that was
Yeah.
so cool because I was at that audition and I like saw you get kept and I was like, oh my god, yay! It's so exciting. So
Mm.
what was that process like working with Keone and Mari? And now
Oh
that you're
yeah.
finally theater is coming back, Beyond Babel's amazing show. Everyone should check it out if you don't know it. And the show is coming back. Like, tell me everything about that process because it must have been
Oh yeah.
incredible.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing you at auditions too, and it was fun how it was like a
I was
class style, wasn't
stressed.
it?
Oh,
But
it was the best audition I've ever been to. Like, I felt like it
oh
was just
yeah.
like so happy. Like, everyone was cheering
Yeah.
everyone on. Like, it was not my thing. I was definitely like, this is not for me. But
Mm.
I respect it. Like, everyone is doing so well. So, yeah, enough of me talking. Tell me everything.
Well, yeah, I before going to that audition, I had no expectations at all. It really was just like, I don't even want to think of this as an attainable dream or goal because I don't think it's ever going to happen. So I remember that morning I woke up, I went to a hot yoga class just to calm my nerves, went to the audition, was mostly there just to feel hyped about seeing friends make it. And I know like Isosa Obiasu really wanted Babel. And I was like, if I see him be able to make it to the next rounds, like that's going to be so worthwhile for me. So it was
Yeah.
really funny and heartwarming when I would like hear his number get called out and then my number would get called out too and we would just freak out and get excited. And then that kept happening as the cuts happened in the auditions. And yeah, I it's been a dream for so long to just do anything with Keone and Mari. Like for over a decade, I've really looked up to them for being pretty much the biggest inspiration to delve into more of that commercial scene, more of like the hip hop social dance scene, because I was always just like a contemporary and ballet kid, like could not bend my back or relax it, always pointed my toes in my sneakers.
Yeah.
So being able to work with them, I'm not sure, have you seen this show before?
Yeah, I saw it like
Okay,
right before everything shut down. Like,
okay.
crazy that that was so long ago.
Yeah, no, it just like it's it's a show that's all movement based and it tells the story of Romeo and Juliet in a modern format for those who don't know. And it makes you feel things that you should feel as a human. That's how I felt when I watched it for the first time. I like cried, I laughed,
Oh,
I cried again. I felt like, oh, this is something really special. And so being a part of it is a huge privilege, and I'm really excited that it's starting back up. And just like being able to perform again in front of live humans,
I know. It's
it's
so
great.
exciting that it's finally happening. I
Yeah.
feel like we've been waiting for this so long. So I'm so excited. The show starts back in September, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Everyone go get your tickets. I'll put the link in the description so everyone can come. So yeah, I was wondering, before we do our next game, I wanted to know, like, obviously Babbel is amazing, but I wanted to know if there were any other dance opportunities or jobs. I say opportunities because sometimes we're not paid, even when we should be, but something that really stood
Right.
out that was like your favorite, besides Babbel, dance opportunity that you've
Oh,
had. If you could pick one, I know that's hard.
oh yeah. I think I would have to pick two.
That's okay.
So yeah, one of them has got to be, Phil Orsano and him doing his own show for the Orsano Project. It's a full-length contemporary fusion show with his style Thunder Groove. So tiring, like the most tiring thing, like 20-minute pieces back to back to back, but so worth it. Like to be able to go from a really intense emotional piece to like an Ariana Grande song and like do what he does best, which is fuse like this groove into a traditionally contemporary style, is really cool. I feel like everybody should go check out his classes if they're like classically trained, but
100%.
also are interested in the groovy part of dance. Like his ear for music is amazing. Um, and then I would also pick Elements for Shinsa. So this is like a
Oh,
competition
yeah.
that happens on the East Coast in Boston every year. And actually, it always falls on my birthday or like birthday weekend. So we would
No
always
way.
travel to Elements, whether I was on Neighbors and when I was on Shinsa, and just like compete for an entire day. And then the next day, just take classes, from the judges and other performers. So that was such an amazing time. It was like part of me wondered like should I be spending my birthday weekend like getting brunch in the city and like seeing, friends from all parts of life, and the other part of me was like nah, like this is where I want to be. I just dancing with some of my best friends, like that's where I want to be.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. It's time for
Yes.
our first game. It
Okay.
is time for Would You Rather. So, if
These sound
anyone is
effects.
watching, yes, we're very high tech. If anyone is watching and would like to participate, feel free to let us know. Even if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, definitely comment, let us know what you would rather. So, I'm going to randomly pick. Luckily, they're not too scandalous, but sometimes they're kind of weird. So, would you rather have to sleep alone each night in a haunted house or sleep in a cage of snakes every night?
Oh my
Very
God.
sleep heavy one.
um how big is this cage? I mean, I feel like sleeping in any cage has got to be terrifying. You can't hide anywhere,
Yeah,
right?
I think like the snakes, like there's not like an area of the cage where you can escape the snakes. Like they are with you.
Okay. Oh man, I don't have a
But then
thing
the
against
haunted
snakes.
house.
I do hate scary movies and haunted things just because it's mostly like the soundtrack in scary movies. You know when it's like a grating like
Yes.
violin sound? Oh,
Oh yeah.
I would pick the house though. I'm sure I could like hide under a carpet or, you
Yeah,
know,
and it doesn't say you can't like be with other people. Like I would sleep in a haunted
yeah.
house if there was like a group of people who are like skilled at fighting or like knew how to build a
Right.
fire, like like we'd be
Yeah.
protected. I think yeah, I'd pick that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you found the loophole in the question. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Would you rather have spaghetti for hair or have a spider appear on you every time you get a spider appear on your head every time you get dressed?
Ooh, is this spaghetti with sauce? Like, is
I
it
think it's
dry?
just I think it grows out. So it would be like
Okay.
wiggly. I think it's not like dry
Okay.
spaghetti like sticking. I mean, maybe it is. And then if you get it
Huh.
wet, it like comes down,
Then it
you
keeps down.
know?
That would be hard to like turn in, right? Imagine like trying to spot and you're just
Wet
like getting
spaghetti
hit.
smacking you in the face.
Oh yeah. Uh-uh. Um, but the spider on top of your head is kind of terrifying because I like change outfits a lot, right? If I'm like working out or if I'm
That's true.
professional at work, that's so yeah, I think the spaghetti is the way to go because
Wow.
I'm sure, at one point I could grow out my hair, donate some to,
Eat some if you're
food
hungry.
pantry, eat some, right? With a spider, what am I gonna do with that?
Yeah,
Nothing.
just be like, every
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Okay, last one. Would you rather never eat chocolate or candy ever again or live in a shed in the middle of a desert?
Never eat chocolate. That's easy. I cannot
Wow.
handle the heat. It's been so hot in New York these past few days, or in past
It
couple
has.
weeks.
The
Like,
weather has
yeah,
been nuts. But at least it would be
and like
dry heat in the
humidity.
weather.
True. Yeah, it'd be dry, so it wouldn't be the armpit of the city that we're in.
Literally.
Um, but it just feels bad to go outside above a certain temperature. I don't know if I'm a baby or what, but I don't I would much prefer the cold. Like if it was like sleep in an igloo in Antarctica or sleep in a tent in the cold, I'd rather pick that. But
Mm, interesting. Okay. Okay, those were
yeah.
good answers. I think, oh, it's really hard for me to give up like chocolate and candy. So I don't know. I have to think about that
Even though you
one.
can have ice cream and like peanut butter and
Oh, that's true. There are workarounds. They didn't say like I couldn't
yeah.
have like a brownie that's made with chocolate, right? Like, I don't know what the rules are. I think we make our own rules, so
Right,
that's fine. Okay,
exactly. Are you a big
let's.
sweet tooth?
Oh, like it's bad. It's really bad. Like,
Mm.
also, I definitely have a lot of cavities right now, so it's fine.
Oh,
I drank like 5 cups
same.
of tea a day during the pandemic, so rough. Probably
Oh
worse than
man.
having soda all day. Not great.
I mean, but you got to find a way to cope, right? Also, same with the cavities. My dentist actually texted me and her other client saying that she's quitting. Maybe it's because of the cavities that I've got. But she was like, "Oh, here's a picture of your new dentist." I was like, "I didn't pick this guy. What are we
What?
doing
Oh
here?"
my god, that's so crazy. Well,
Yeah.
so speaking of, I'm trying to find a transition, but speaking of doctors and dentists, that makes me think of insurance, which is what a full time real person job gets you that I don't have. So I'd love to talk
Um,
about Google. Like, whoa, okay,
yeah.
before I even get into that, like, I want to know, did you move to the city just planning on like corporate, full job, I'm a boss? Or did you move here to dance and then just like tell me everything about this. I'm so impressed and intrigued.
Yeah, I was open to both. Um, actually, so when I was in college, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, pivoted and was like, okay, I want to do something more movement focused because it's more like dance based and like PT sounds like a good physical therapy sounds like a good path. Did all my requirements for that, was like president of the pre-physical therapy club. Senior year comes around and I decide that I don't want to apply to PT schools. And I decided that I wanted to apply to full-time corporate life stuff instead.
Wow.
I had no experience, and I kid you not, I have like a folder on one of my old computers of 100 different companies that have rejected me. I had like a different resume and cover letter for each one, and just like faced so much rejection that last semester of college. It was devastating because everybody around us like was getting jobs at that time, right? Being like, "Oh, I'm moving to San Francisco, moving to, New York, and I have this job lined up." And I was like, "Okay, great. I have no experience and I don't know what I'm doing." So, cool, 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 cool.
Yep.
um, so yeah, I had no relevant experience for corporate life, no internships. but then had studied some computer science in school and studied some marketing because I felt like my interests were leading that way and I was just curious about it. And then I applied to jobs in New York after getting this arts grant for Duke and spending a summer here and realized that I just love the city. Like I love the diversity, I love the amount of art opportunities you could get here, the amount of dancing you could train in. And so even though I, hadn't had a job that summer besides the arts grant from my school, I decided like, okay, I'm just going to apply to things here and hope for the best. And so I applied to corporate stuff, ended up working at this think tank called L2. We did like digital marketing research. And from there, transitioned to an advertising technology company called AppNexus that was bought by AT&T. It's actually getting sold off now. And then was kind of poached from there and was referred into Google by someone that I used to work with. So, yeah, it's kind
Wow.
of like a really winding process. Definitely was not what I expected, but really grateful for where I am now.
Yeah, and how do you balance working full time at Google and then still
Hmm.
training? Now you're going to be in this off Broadway show again. Like, are they open to that? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, for a long time, I thought to myself, there is no balance. That it's, you go really hard at things that you love and then you just do it. So to consistently train in different styles, like I would go to work, right, 9 to 5, stay at work a little bit later, and then go take like one or two classes at Broadway Dance Center, at Perry Dance or EXPG. Sometimes, there'd be like a house session at EXPG that starts at 10:30 at night on Mondays. So I would just
Oh
stay
my
at work
God.
until then, like doing other things, and then just go to the house session, come back home at like 12:30 in the morning and be like, I am so exhausted, but so happy to be doing this. Because, like, where else in the world could you pursue a career, but then also be in the heart of such a great dance culture? Like,
Yeah.
nowhere, you know? So, yeah. So I think I probably burnt myself out with that lifestyle. And
Yeah.
the pandemic really made me try and reevaluate like why am I doing all of this, and where is the actual joy coming from, right? Because like
Mm.
the next gig that I'm looking to do or the next class or next performance, like that's not going to be satisfying for me, right? So it's kind of like once you set those goals, once you achieve them, there's always going to be more. So that kind of broke me in the past year. I
Mm.
started thinking like, how can I find just the fun of moving again for myself? Right. And I think that's something that as dancers is really easy to forget when we are just chasing how to be better, how to,
Yes.
how to work on our textures, performance quality, versatility, our strength. And it's so hard to just like step back and be like, I am fine where I am. I look good. It's so difficult.
Yeah. Wow, that's so true. And I feel like also it's so easy to even forget, like you were saying, why do I do this? And also, like, being influenced by so many people. We're all in this small
Yeah.
bubble, the New York dance world, the BDC dance world. It's really easy to be like, you just get wrapped up in doing what everyone else is doing and doing what you think you
Hmm.
should be doing. And then it's like, wait, what do I actually want to be doing? What makes me happy? What do I need to learn? What are my goals?
Right.
And how do I find that balance? I think that is something that everyone I've talked to, I think this pandemic, as horrible as it's been such an eye opener and helps so many
Hmm.
people really zero in on like what makes me happy because
Right.
we were like, I mean, it's still not great out there, but like it was rough. Like you had to really make your happiness some of those days, you know, with everything, all the
Hmm.
news and everything. So I think it's so true, and I'm so impressed that you're able to find that balance. I mean, I remember finding out that you worked at Google, and I was like, what? Like I had no idea because you give 100% to your dance when you're there, and like that is so impressive to then know that you do a full other job outside of dancing. Like that is wild. Is Google
Aw.
like as crazy as they like as like fun as they make it seem, like bean bags and like ping pong tables all over? Is that really true?
Oh yeah, you should definitely come once we like start getting guests
What?
back in. Yeah, I'll give you a tour. But yeah, we've got a DDR machine in the New York office, which is wild. So there are some really intense people who crush. It's like it's the physical DDR, and so not just the mat, but the kind with the bar in the back where people are super intense. Yeah, and
What?
it's in the game room. So we've got pool, we've got old school arcade games, we got ping pong. Um, a whole bunch of stuff. And then, yeah, the perks are definitely a huge privilege, and they make it really fun to be able to be there and hang out, right? So that's part of their whole thing. It's like if we think you want to hang out more here, there's more opportunity for collaboration and creativity, and new things will happen. So,
So cool. So what exactly
yeah.
is your job? Like what do you do? I always whenever I ask people who are in like real jobs, I'm always so curious like what does your day look like? A
Yeah.
regular pre-pandemic day.
I think dancing professionally and being creative is a real job too. It's just
That's true.
hours
That's
are different,
true.
right? So I call it like a 9 to 5 because I have like the old school, right, classical office hours. But so
Yeah.
I'm a solutions consultant in our ad tech business. So it's the part of Google that makes money, and we fund
Oh,
everything else that we do.
that's important. That's a little important. Okay.
So yeah, there's like a whole ad tech ecosystem, and I help big publisher clients with websites get ads on their website. I help them with implementations. I help them with any, technical troubleshooting that gets too complex, and I create solutions for them for moving forward with technical projects. So some clients that you may know of within my vertical are like Best Buy, Walmart's, the car gurus of the world. So it's been really nice to
Wow.
be able to be client facing and also technical at the same time.
So cool. Oh my gosh, I could have a million more questions, but I want to get into our second game. Let me get
Yeah.
my little
That was
questions.
on cue too. Wow.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, so it's not really a game. I kind of say it's a game, but it's more just like mystery questions. So I'm going to randomly
Nice.
pick one of each color. I always say this. A lot of these questions are from the website Questions to Ask Your Dad. I was just searching for questions on the internet. So we'll see. Some of them are like deep, some of them are funny. You can always veto them if you
Mhm.
don't want to answer. Let me see. If we get some that we've already done, then I might veto them myself. Okay. Oh.
I hope your
Okay.
dad
These are
doesn't
kind of
get jealous that
fun.
I'm answering these for him.
I know. He's going to be like, oh, those are the questions for me. Ooh, okay. Okay, so pick a color. These are
Okay,
pretty good.
purple.
My favorite color. What embarrasses you the most in front of other people?
Okay, so I've never really been good at talking in front of other people. Like I was the kid in high school, yeah, all the way up through high school where I'd be so shy and nervous to say something out loud in class. So when like the teacher would ask a question, I would literally write down my answer on my paper and then practice it in my head and then raise my hand. And by the time I did, the teacher would pick someone else and be like, oh, okay, well, that was good practice anyways. So I get really flustered when I speak to someone, but then I get inside my head and I notice exactly what I'm saying and how it sounds, and I kind of freak out about it. That's that, and then I worry about like I- I'm having like this whole conversation in my head as I'm talking to the other person. Like, do they know what I'm saying? Do I know what I'm saying? Do I sound weird? Do I look weird right now?
Oh
So it's
my
something that I'm
gosh.
getting over.
I can relate to that so much. I used to whisper the answers in math class, like
Oh,
17.
yeah.
And my teacher would literally be like, a little louder? What was that? And I would be like, it's fine, I'm fine. Or like when you're reading in class and you like have to read a paragraph, I wouldn't be listening to
Oh,
any of the
yeah.
other paragraphs. I'd just be like rereading my paragraphs, counting like which
Same,
line am I gonna
yeah.
have to read. Oh my gosh, I'm so with you on that. Okay, next color.
Yeah. Orange.
Ooh. What is the weirdest thing you've done on a date? Ooh.
Um, there have been many. Who should I throw shade at right now? Okay. I think this person doesn't have much social media. So this is like an ex of mine who, for an anniversary, wanted to go to IKEA. And you may be thinking like, oh, okay, like go to IKEA, like shop for things together,
Yeah, they've
envision
got
like a
like the
home.
meatballs,
No.
the cinnamon buns.
Yes, that's more like it. He wanted to go to the cafeteria in IKEA. So we like
Okay.
went there and we got Swedish meatballs. We tried out their foods. We bought not a single thing from their home goods section. And then we took the free ferry ride to Manhattan. And he was like standing outside on the ferry, like, isn't this great? And I was like, is this it? This like
This
just
is
the
the
meatballs.
big
And then
anniversary.
yeah, the meatballs and public transportation. Like
Cool, cool, great.
yeah,
That's why he's an
cool.
ex. Okay,
There you go.
next question.
Oh, I forgot I was picking pink.
If you could learn any language fluently, what would it be?
Hmm. I I I am Chinese, but I don't know any Chinese. But I think what would be more useful is like my extended family is all in Indonesia, and I know
Oh,
Indonesian, but at the level that you would expect from like a 6-year-old, because that's basically when I stopped learning from my parents. They thought it would interfere with my English.
mm-hmm.
Really, I think it's so much easier to learn language as a kid because now I'm like, I don't have
Yeah.
the time, motivation, environment, you know. But yeah, being fluent in Indonesian and being able to like go back and not sound like a child would be lovely.
Right. And
Yeah.
we have a friend in the audience. I want to give him a shout out. He's been commenting and he
Oh.
says, "Yo, IKEA rocks, Sweden."
No shade against IKEA. It was just, the anniversary and unexpected event.
Yeah. No, we are not anti IKEA. Okay, last question of these. What is the last lie you told? Scandal.
Ooh.
You can veto it if you want.
Ooh, last lie I told. Um, wow, it's a
It's
hard
also
one.
it's okay if like you're not a big liar. That's all right. I'd believe it.
I think I'm like a jokester, so sometimes I'll say things that are just out there and I don't think too much about them, but they're also not really the truth. It's more so because I like to see the other person laugh, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some of that around here. Uh, Also, sometimes, when strangers interact with you, you kind of don't
Oh
want to
yeah.
reveal everything. Um, yeah, so I think there was an interaction when I was at the climbing gym earlier today. And this dude always talks to me. I don't know why. And he kind of like talks a little bit longer than you would expect and
Oh
laughs a
yeah.
little bit more than you would expect for things that aren't funny. And so I think he asked me what I did outside of climbing, and I gave some answers that were true, but not the whole truth,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right? So
It's
he,
always rough like when an Uber driver, taxi driver is like, "Oh, what do you do?" And you're, "Hi, a dancer." Oh, and then they're like, "Oh, are you a
yeah.
stripper?" And you're like, "That's no. I should have not said anything." Oh,
Oh, have you gotten
that does.
that before?
Oh, like so many
Whoa.
times that hasn't happened to you. Oh,
No,
it's
well,
bad. I
I,
don't
I
think
think
I'd
it was
give
also
off
bad too,
stripper
because like
vibes, but
BDC is right next to that strip club. I wonder if it's still there.
true.
So there's a lot of like associations physically too in the city.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, before I ask you the very last question, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about what are some of your passions outside of dance, outside of working at Google. I know you brought up rock climbing. So cool that you have gotten into that. Is that a new adventure for you?
Yeah. It definitely is. I got into it about 3 or so months ago, but it's been super fun. Mostly got into it because all the dance studios were still closed, and I was like, okay, I can't run anymore. Like, I don't want to open up my Nike Run Club app. I hate running. I've always hated running, but did it so much in the past year. And I was like, okay, if I don't feel like dancing, the studios are whack. I got to do something. So went to the climbing gym, mostly at Brooklyn Boulders, and just really love the physical strength aspect of it and seeing how dance movement translates to that just on a wall and vertically, right? So, yeah, it's been really rewarding too to just see how you can progress. I think like in dance classes, you often don't see that as linearly versus in climbing, there are certain grades for the routes. So seeing yourself get stronger in that way is really empowering, especially as like a woman, because it's mostly I feel like mostly men who are in it that I see. So yeah, I really have been getting into it. I told you earlier, I just came from the
Yeah.
climbing gym, and what's cool is that I also see similarities between like ballet and point with climbing, right? So I think my shoes here behind me, but like the
You have
shoe
the
itself is
official
kind of
climbing
like,
shoes. Oh my gosh.
yeah, these are actually getting really beat up because they're like falling apart now, but there's like a little bit of a stiffness in the sole, kind of like a point shoe. And the more advanced shoe you get, the more downturned it is into a point, and the stiffer the bottom is. It's kind of like the shank of a point shoe, right? You have to
Wow.
like probably have to break it in, have to like get your foot used to it. And usually the shoe itself, just like point shoes, like are a bit smaller than your street shoe size so that you
Yeah.
can actually feel the ground when you're moving, or in this case, like
Oh my
feel the tiny
gosh.
holds when you're moving up the wall.
Wow, that is so cool. That oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. And I know for like so are you doing like bouldering? Is that what it's called? Okay,
Bouldering,
cool.
yeah, I can't tie a knot to save my life yet, so bouldering for
That would
sure,
be
yeah.
like when you do the knots. When you're not bouldering, that's just like straight up rock climbing, like on a
Yeah,
mountain, like on the side of a cliff.
yeah. So when you're not bouldering, you have a harness on. Usually you're doing like sport climbing or top rope or lead climbing. There's also like an auto belay that some gyms have that will automatically catch you if you fall because you're like into the system with the harness and the
Wow.
rope, which is cool. But yeah, a lot of cool things to explore. And I'm going to Colorado in a few days, so hopefully I can get some outdoor climbing. out there. I know maybe
Whoa.
you can give me some tips because you were telling me about
Oh
climbing
yeah.
outdoors in
Oh yeah.
college.
I'm technically belay certified. I don't know if I have to redo
No
that
biggie.
certification, but I would not trust myself to belay anyone or to have myself get on a rock and climb it. So that would be terrifying. But I'm always really impressed watching you because I know how hard that is to go up the wall, and like
Mm,
some of them are really like upside down almost. Like it's like you're Spider
yeah.
Woman. I'm like, wow, amazing.
It's really interesting to see, like, sometimes it's not about just the brute physical strength that you see some guys doing. Sometimes it's about body positioning too, and like body
Mm.
awareness, which I really love, like finding more efficient ways to do things, and using like my flexibility to go through things. Like that's something that not a lot of people have, right? And being trained in ballet and contemporary, you know this, like we could pick up different styles and different movements just because we've trained our bodies to adapt to different shapes.
Yeah, wow, that's so true. And everyone should definitely go check out your Instagram. You have some really cool climbing videos on there. But yeah, so the last question that I ask everyone is what brings out your most creative self? So,
Mm. Guys, you floated this to me before and I was thinking about it. I really love walking through the city with my headphones on, like big over the ear headphones, noise canceling, which is probably kind of dangerous, but I love it anyways. And just blasting the music and just walking and thinking about movement. And
mm,
I've gotten some flack from coworkers about this before because like they'll see me put my headphones on, leave the office, and then I like walk to the subway station and then walking behind me like to the same station and I'm like dancing as I'm walking, like just not for any purpose, not for choreography, not to look a certain way because I'm sure I look hectic and crazy as hell, but just to be able to have movement and think about creative movement as I'm looking at, you know, such an amazing place to live in. So
mm.
I love doing that. I'm sure if people have seen me on the street anywhere, they see that I move like a crazy person because I'm literally dancing in my head and thinking about ways to move that are new. But I just love it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, where can people find you if they want to get in touch? I know I also,
Yeah.
well, you tell us that, and I'm going to try and see if I can find something else that I have. Aha, there we go. Yes. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, dance wise, I post a lot of what I'm working on my Instagram at Genetic. I don't update my YouTube very much. It makes me nervous. For cat stuff, you can follow at Cheeto Yay on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
You know, the only kind of influencer I want to be is just a cat influencer, honestly. Um,
Yes.
for work things, you can find me on LinkedIn, Jennifer Margono. And yeah, I'd say you can email me too if you want, JenMargono @gmail.com. Unless you're a bot, then that's not my
Then
email.
stay away. Then
And
stay away.
uh-uh.
Oh, it would be really crazy if you didn't have a Gmail. You had like AOL. That would be like
Oh, right.
scandal.
A Hotmail. My
Yeah.
mom still has a Hotmail. We haven't converted her yet, but that's so funny that you changed the handle to Cheeto Yay.
Yes. Everyone definitely go check out Cheetos, TikToks, and Instagram because there are some very high quality videos up on those.
I love it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad that I finally didn't cancel and we got to have a little cat party. I don't know if you saw, but
Yeah.
Maisie came and joined. She's a little
Oh,
sleepy. She's definitely smaller than Milo, but
oh, she's a
uh,
string bean.
yeah, she's little. But they're the same. I think she's actually older. Hi.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you so
thank you
much for having
so
me on and
much.
all good about, being booked and blessed.
Oh,
Congrats again on the opportunity. And I'm sure, that I'll hear more exciting things about what's in store for you.
oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. Everyone go see Beyond Babel. It's going to be so good. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you, Haley. You too.
Bye.